Hombre, and how does the whole thing work? Coming up on the Tequila. Who is the Tequila Hombre, and how does the whole thing work? Coming up. Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of welcome to this second class for the Masterclass of developing your palate. Hey call centers, hola, glad you can make it today. Jan Nissen, bienvenido, welcome, glad you can make it today. So today we're going to continue off where we left off last week. Did you guys do your homework? Did you keep revisiting the spices and stuff that we worked with last week? Hopefully you've been revisiting them and reminding yourself and kind of just developing a familiarity with the spices and stuff that the baking spices that we already did last week. Let me take some more water in. Hopefully you're revisiting them and getting yourself super familiar and putting your nosing and tasting notes in your tasting journal. Hopefully you've set that up. I'm waiting for some more people to come because we're only showing a couple of people listed here. So I want to make sure that if you're here and you're watching, go ahead and comment so I know who's here. I don't want to make sure we don't, some people don't miss some of the content, so I want to make sure everybody that is kind of doing the class is here. So when you show up, let me know, just comment and say, hey, so I know you're here. We're getting the numbers up now. It takes a while for YouTube's algorithm to get people notified that we're here. So Ruben says, hola, hombre. Hey, hola, Ruben. Glad you can make it. So what did you guys think about last week's class? Did you guys like it? Quicksilver's here. Okay, great. Did you guys like the format and everything? Did you have a good learn something or have a good experience with that? I want to know what your thoughts are so far. Well, we're just waiting here for a little bit longer for people to show up. Waiting for our class to arrive. Everyone should be here early, though. We start taking attendance, and those aren't here. We'll be getting detention. So, are you guys enjoying the masterclass so far? Yes, trading the nose is always good. Okay, good. Hey, Al Martinez is here. Hola. Glad you make it, Al. Beyond Barrel showed up. Chris, how you doing, buddy? Glad you can make it. Chris Beraldi. Glad you can make it. All right. Well, I'm good. Good. Yeah, learning a lot. Okay, good. I want to make sure you guys are learning a lot. All right, if you saw in the on the YouTube community, I did post some ingredients for next week. I'll post some more for the week after that too, and I'll just keep updating it with more stuff that we need to get for the tasting panel. And then what we're going to do is we're going to build like a flavor chart that you're gonna put in your tasting journal on like the first inside page of your book, so you can reference it for tasting notes and stuff. It should be a good reference thing to have inside your book. I normally do inside of my book. I just started a new tasting journal so I'll write it inside my book, and then when I get it set up, I'll show you what I do, and then I can probably create a worksheet with it on there. But I think it's good for you guys to write it yourself too, because then you get some familiarity with what's on it versus just taking something that I create and putting it inside the book. I think when you write stuff out, you get more familiar with it and know what's there versus just taping like a pre-made worksheet in there or something. So, okay, Jan says it's awesome. Okay, good. Hola, Frankish. Glad you can make it. So I'll get this drawn up, and then I'll show you guys what I do once I get it written out. I do it every book. I rewrite it because then I'm even more familiar with the tasting note, the tasting chart and stuff. So it's kind of a nice reference to have. Trying to decide between a Luchador Repo or the 2 organic Repo. I can only buy one at this time. They're both very different, but we're not really doing that. We're doing our masterclass, our tasting masterclass now. So that'll be a question for Thursday. We can do that stuff on Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we're doing a palate masterclass. So what we're doing is we're teaching people how to identify flavors in their tequila when tasting. So we're building a palate, so then you can recognize flavors and stuff, and it helps you with your tasting. And so we're gonna We're building right now. Last week we started with the basic flavors of a cooked agave and what are considered by basically the industry tasters and stuff of what the flavor of cooked agave is and the best descriptors for it. So we identified and we smelled and tasted those flavors, so we get ourselves acclimated and used to them, so we can pick them out when we come across them. So far we did cinnamon, we did cloves and nutmeg, right? Did we do anything else? I think it was cinnamon, cloves, and nutmeg, right? Yeah. Which I think were a little bit different tasting and smell and stuff than what people thought, which I thought was kind of cool. So then you kind of really know what true cinnamon is like and what true nutmeg is like and what true cloves are like and what they taste like. No, it's okay. We'll do that on Thursday. We're doing the palate thing right now. So, but just flip a coin. Both of them are great. But we can dive into it further on what I prefer, what I like and stuff on Thursday. So come back on Thursday if you don't want to sit through the palate class, but this is going to be, palate development stuff, and you're welcome to stay and go through it too. I don't know if you picked up the ingredients or not already, but, this week we're doing cardamom, we're doing star anise, and we're doing vanilla beans. So, I think we have enough people we can get things started right now. So let's start with the cardamom, because that one's gonna not blow everything out as much as the other two will. The other two are gonna be pretty potent and strong. So we're gonna start with the one that's kind of the least palate destroying with the cardamom. So the first thing we're gonna do is pull out your tasting journal, and hopefully you're putting your notes and stuff in your tasting journal. You know, on the first page or whatever, you can put cooked agave, put the different spices, and then put how they taste to you, like we're doing when we go through, and don't put it tastes like cinnamon, or instead what kind of things you pick out from the smell of cinnamon, like when we did it last week. So this one we're doing cardamom right now. So we're gonna pop open the top on it. I already pulled the seal off of the inside of mine, so we're just going to start nosing the cardamom right now. It's kind of an interesting nose on cardamom. It's very it's almost like a foresty, like pine forest kind of smell to it. It's very it's basically like a pine forest. Like it smells like a forest, like pine needles, like Christmas, kind of like Christmas time, like Christmas trees. If you ever been in like a Christmas tree farm or whatever, it's got that smell of like Christmas tree needles, but it has a hint of mint in there as well. What are you guys picking up? What kind of descriptors are you picking up for the smell of cardamom? So what are you guys thinking? Nobody else doing it? Am I just nosing cardamom by myself? For me, it smells very foresty. It smells like pine needles, like a Christmas tree. It's got Yeah, antiseptic, like pine. Well, I don't know about antiseptic, but definitely, because antiseptic means it's like out like chemical. It doesn't smell chemical to me. It's more like piney, like forest fresh. I would say that more than antiseptic. For me, it smells very foresty, like basically like Christmas trees, like pine needles. There's a hint of mint in there. It's very earthy. Slight menthol and slightly astringent. Okay, yeah, I can get the mint part. Definitely is like a menthol. Oh, you're tasting it right now. We're just nosing it still, but I can definitely pick up like a minty menthol nose on it. Yeah, it definitely has a minty-esque kind of feel to it. All right, you guys, you want to get into tasting since Jan's already jumping to it. All right, let's taste it now. Yeah, it definitely has a minty, like a mentholist note on it on the taste. And it tastes kind of earthy, like dirt. It's got an earthy kind of flavor for me. But definitely a hint of menthol in there, definitely. A little bit of bitterness in there, like an earthy bitterness. It's like dirt, All right, so what do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that spice? Kind of different, right? I'm not a huge fan of cardamom, but it's good to know what it tastes like. Hey, JCS guitar, glad you can make it. JCS cigar or somebody else. Yeah, minty dirt, earthy. It's kind of different than you thought, huh? Was it different than you thought, or was it pretty much what you're expecting with cardamom? But it kind of incorporates all these elements, to give you that, the flavor profile that you get from agave, because agave is grows in dirt, so it's going to have some of that earthiness and stuff with the sweet. This one tastes like it smells. Yeah, unlike some of the ones last week, there was some ones that were completely different. Like the cloves didn't taste anything like it smelled. It smelled kind of sweet, but didn't taste sweet at all. It had a interesting bitterness to it. Yeah, cardamom's kind of an interesting spice in itself. All right, so go ahead and drink some water, rinse your palate off from that one, and then what we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump into vanilla bean, get ourselves kind of acclimated to what real vanilla smells like and tastes like. I'm sure most of you already know because you've had vanilla bean ice cream and stuff. But this is going to be kind of a more potent thing on it. Your wife cooks it into flavored oatmeal. Not a fan of it. Vanilla or cardamom? She puts cardamom in your oatmeal? All right. All right, so pull out your vanilla. Let's start with the nosing on this. This is going to be kind of interesting. So what are you getting on the nose on this? It's not just straight vanilla, right? What are you getting on the nose? For me, it smells like marshmallows, doesn't it? It smells like marshmallows. If I had to pick something out where I'm like, what does it smell like? What in my mind do I think this smells like? It smells like marshmallows. Yeah, it definitely has a creamy nose to it. I definitely agree with that. It's almost like a fluffy, creamy. It's definitely a more well-rounded note to it than what we normally get from like the artificial vanillas and stuff. Oh, she puts cardamom seeds in oatmeal. Okay. So it's kind of an interesting nose to it. It's almost like marshmallow for me. It's like a fluffy, creamy. It's almost kind of a different, more deep vanilla note to it. Like there's a lot more to it than what you get from like a normal artificial vanilla flavoring that you smell, or even vanilla extract. It smells good. I mean, I like it. I love the smell of vanilla. What are you guys thinking so far about? Yeah, you can smell this all night. I know, right? It's good, right? Anybody else want to comment on smelling the vanilla bean? Anybody else smelling it with this, or is it just Quicksilver and I nosing the vanilla bean? It almost has too a little bit of like a bitter kind of overtone to it in there, which is kind of interesting. Yes, but are you nosing with this? You're not nosing the vanilla bean though, are you? It's completely different than what you normally would think of vanilla. I don't know. It just smells like vanilla to me. Not getting much. Oh, really? On your vanilla beans? For me, it smells like marshmallows. There's a little like top note of almost like a musty top note to it. But it smells good. It's definitely a lot more complex and stuff than a normal vanilla note. But let's let's do a little tasting on this. I'm just going to break off a little part. I'm going to cut a piece off. Let's see, where's my scissors? I had scissors here. Where are they? Oh, here they are. I'm just going to cut a little piece off. There we go. All right, so when you pick up vanilla notes, you can get vanilla notes in Blancos from cooked agave without there being additives in it. It can be just this vanillin notes that come in from cooked agave, but you can also get it from the wood. There's a substance called vanillin in there, which gives off a vanilla-esque kind of nose and flavor profile to it. These beans do contain vanillin in them, but at a lot higher concentrate than you'll get from the wood. But we're going to go ahead and taste this now. And so you're going to get a punch of vanilla, probably unlike you're used to, unless you've chewed on vanilla beans before. So what I do is I just take a little piece like this and just pop it in your mouth and kind of chew on it. Get the oil in your mouth. And it's a real concentrated vanilla flavor. And you can actually just kind of push it up too through get the oil out from the bean. Definitely tastes like pure vanilla. So I'm getting sweet. It actually has a little bit of a spiciness to it. Has a little bit of a spiciness coming from it as well. But it's definitely a rich vanilla note that comes through. A little bit of spice. What are you guys thinking of the vanilla? How would you describe the taste besides just vanilla? Is there anything else you'd put in your descriptor in the book? Sweeter than you thought, yes. But it has a little bit of a zing to it, a spiciness to it too. That's right, yeah. I'm getting the same things. But it's kind of a really neat, it's a really a punch in the face kind of nice vanilla pop with a little bit of sweetness in there. And it's got this spiciness that kind of comes through. I'm getting a little bit of a spicy note that comes through on it. But it's for me though, it's more too of more of a like an earthier, there's like an earthy note built into it too, almost like I'm trying to think of how you almost like leaves, like a leaf, like a leafy note in there as well. Getting a little buttery. Yeah, it is a little creamy. Yeah, so buttery. I could get. Yeah, I could see that. It has a creaminess to it. And the flavor, it's like a very rounded flavor. It's not as one-dimensional as when you get like the vanilla notes that come through in tequila and stuff after aging. So So vanillin is the compound that's in these beans. It's so abundant that they call vanilla beans, and vanillin is the compound that's in wood naturally as well, that you get when you do the aging, where you get the vanilla flavor and the caramel flavor and stuff to it. Caramel flavor comes more from the vanillin being toasted or cooked, with charred, because of it is a sweeter molecule, so it's almost like a sugar compound type of thing. So that's where you get the caramelization from. But it's the compound's called vanillin, and so that's when you age in wood, you get that vanilla note. It's from the vanillin compounds, and you can actually, when you buy your barrels, when you buy your wood for your barrels, you can actually see a diagnostic of your wood that tells you how much vanillin is in it. They actually do tests and stuff, so you can know how much of the vanilla flavor profile is going to be. And you can buy wood with less vanillin in it or wood with more vanillin in it, and they'll actually can tell you too, based on your toast and stuff, what flavor notes you should get and how it's going to produce with your wine, or with your liquor or whatever it is. Vanillin's in more than just oak. It's a natural compound that shows up in many different woods. But there's some woods, though, that have other compounds in them that are poisonous. So you can't use any wood to age liquor in that you're going to consume, because there's some woods that are toxic. And if you try to age liquor with them, you could end up poisoning yourself or making yourself very sick. So, but vanillin is in, and it's actually vanillin, vanillin, but it does show up in nature by itself, and it is found in wood, as well as in the vanilla bean plant, but at a higher concentrate in a vanilla bean plant. So vanillin, and that's what when they make artificial flavoring and stuff, they basically build the vanillin compound, either in a lab, or they'll take it they extract it out of wood, or they actually found a way now, this is kind of an interesting thing that they're doing, to create the vanilla flavorings, like the artificial vanilla flavoring and stuff. What they're actually doing and they did this to be more conserving, more conservationists, is they're taking paper, like paper that's thrown away, and they're extracting the vanillin out of recycled paper. So, and then they're creating the artificial vanilla flavoring out of that, so they can pull it out of cardboard, out of paper, out of paper products, and they have a technique now where they can extract the vanillin from it and use that to create the artificial flavoring compounds. So it's kind of interesting. I was reading an article about that. I was like, oh, I like my vanilla to be more natural. So like when I get vanilla, I buy 100% real vanilla in Mexico when I'm down there. Mexico makes amazing vanilla. And so every time we take a trip to Mexico, I always come back with a jar of 100% vanilla extract. And it's very good for chocolate chip cookies and stuff like that. So I tend to stay away from the artificial vanilla flavoring stuff. Especially after finding out that they're taking recycled paper buying them from the garbage dump, and extracting the vanillin from that paper to make the artificial flavoring. So all right, so let's move on to our last spice for this evening. The Spice Girls. That's Happy Spice, right? And what's the other one? What are the Spice Girls? No, I'm joking. No Spice Girls. Although a Spice Girl reunion would be actually pretty good because I know a lot of people would like to see the Spice Girls. I'm a big fan of Wannabe. Wannabe's a good song. So, all right. So pull out your star anise. This one's going to be the. No, I've never tried making my own extract. I have no desire to make my own extract. I just buy vanilla extract in Mexico and I'm happy. I have used vanilla beans to flavor beer and stuff before, because you can just take a vanilla bean. If you want to make a vanilla tequila, you can take a vanilla bean and drop it in a Blanco bottle, and all the oils and stuff, the alcohol in it would definitely dissolve the vanilla molecules, and you'll have a very vanilla tequila. So if you want to try that, drop a vanilla bean into a bottle of Blanco. I'd go higher proof if you're going to do it, and then you'll get a really strong vanilla flavored tequila if you want to do that. So, but I have no desire to make my own vanilla extract, but that's one way you could do it though. But for those of you that are like, hey, let's experiment. I like vanilla. I love vanilla. Let's drop it in a Blanco bottle and see what you get after give it a couple weeks to, because we used to make mead as home brewers, and we drop a vanilla bean in the mead, just one vanilla, because there's a lot of vanilla in one bean. So, and you can even use a half a bean, and you may still be over flavoring the tequila if you put a whole bean in. I would use maybe half a bean or a quarter bean, just so you're not getting just to get a vanilla bomb, unless that's what you're looking for. But that we used to do it in mead. It used to make a nice vanilla mead. Technically, almost, yeah. I'm sure, but there's a lot more that you're not edible. You got to make sure that it's suitable for human consumption, because there are some that are not suitable for human consumption. All right, so now let's pull out your star anise. We're going to work with this one now. Go ahead and start nosing your star anise. And I know that's going to be a really or star anise, sorry. Anise and anise. People are like, anise is anise. It's too much like anus. I'm like, oh, come on. So anise or anise, however you want to pronounce it. But go ahead and take it smells like good and plenty. I mean, it smells like it's black licorice. It's just. So how would you describe that? It actually smells kind of sweet. Yeah, it definitely smells like licorice, like black licorice, which I'm not a fan of black licorice. I normally like just about any other type of licorice but black licorice. But it definitely has that black licorice, but it's kind of sweet. Has a little bit of see, this is a good exercise too, and kind of helping you describe things when you're doing nosing. Instead of saying it smells like licorice, you can say it definitely has a sweet top note on it. So like on the very top of the scent, I'm getting like a sweetness that comes over the top. And then I'm getting kind of like almost like an earthy spice note that comes in on the bottom of it. Charlie says, "Yeah, I like good and plenty." Yeah, it definitely has sweet, definitely sweet overtone to it. It's got that middle. It's got like a kind of earthy tart note down at the bottom of it. If you're looking at, I kind of, it's interesting when I pick up a scent on my nose when I'm nosing something. I can kind of pick it out like a wavelength, right? Like here, this is the scent that I'm getting, because there's other scents that are inside this. So like for me, it kind of pictures as like a graph, a block. So on the top, I'm getting some sweetness that comes in for me on the top part of the note. On the bottom, I'm getting kind of like a earthy, slightly bitter mustiness that comes through on it. Yeah, woody, earthy, foresty kind of and in the middle there's a kind of just an interesting, there's like a really a sweet note on the top, but then in the middle there's kind of like a creamy sweetness kind of in the middle of it. It's very complex and deep note to it, which is kind of what I think is cool, what I like. So learning to describe stuff like that really helps too with writing your tasting notes when you're tasting something and trying to describe and give somebody descriptors. I like that. It smells good. I like the smell of star anise much more than I like the taste of the black licorice taste. So, but we're gonna have to do the tasting part of what star anise tastes like. Now, I have worked with star anise before, in that I actually brewed a batch at Sierra Nevada Brewery on their pilot plant, and we did what's called a Baltic Porter, and we used molasses and star anise in it. So we were sampling everything that we were putting into the beer, because that's just like I say, whenever you cook something at home, sample all the ingredients as you're making it. So you get to know the ingredients and stuff. We did the same thing when we were making beer. So we tossed blackstrap molasses, so we all tasted that to see what it tastes like. So we figured out how much we wanted to put into it. We all tasted the star anise to see how much we wanted to put in that and see what it tasted like. We tasted everything. We tasted everything but the yeast. But what is that? It's a lot harder than I thought to put into words. Yeah, the descriptions are, people. But if you think about it and you can get creative with it, just think about how you describe it. That's the way to do it. It's not really, people make it harder than it actually is. It's really not that hard. You just got to put into words what you're experiencing. So, and try to really kind of nail down what is in, what are all the elements that you're getting from the notes, from the flavor notes, or from the nosing notes, the aromas. So, and just understand too that there's no wrong answer. You can't be wrong about your notes. No one should be able to judge you about your notes, because they're yours. They're strictly yours. You're subjective, and they're based on your experiences, right? So, and the more you taste things, the more you experience things, the better you're going to be at picking things out and writing tasting notes that people will be able to relate to. Now there's a bunch of egotistical bullshit tasting just notes and stuff out there where people are like, it's wet concrete in a July day and it tastes like dogwood bark, and they pick out like all these weird stupid things to try to make themselves look like, hey, I've got an advanced palate. But you'll never see them chewing on the bark of a dogwood tree or out licking their driveway after a storm, their concrete driveway. It just doesn't happen. So there's a bunch of BS, egotistical bullshit tasting notes. And you'll find that a lot with wine too. I try to keep mine very relatable so people can say, yeah, okay, I taste that, and keep them kind of simple, because I think that basically lends for making a better review that more people understand than getting all crazy with these tasting notes of like, I taste all these things and just, which, no one can challenge you on. You can say whatever the hell you want. And then people go, well, I don't get that. I just get this and that and this. And that's it, and it just gets people angry because they go, I can't taste the same thing. What is that? Get a little fennel taste, which is not that fond of it. Yeah, well, fennels and star anise have a very similar flavor profile. Definitely has that black licorice. Tastes like A15 Wagyu I had at Dorsia. Yeah, it's crazy stuff like that. Yeah. Okay, Ruben agrees with me. Cool. Yeah, you'll see tasting notes in the review. I'm like, oh, come on. Be for real. All right, so it's time to taste the star anise. I'm like, because I really don't like black licorice, but I'm taking one for the team here. So. It definitely has an interesting sweetness to it. I'm definitely getting that bitterness that comes in the middle. And so that's what you'll pick up when I talk about anise notes. It's this bitterness in the middle that you'll find. You'll go like, okay, yes, that's what he's talking about. It's this bitterness that I don't like, but it's good for balancing out sweetness. But just bite off a little part of the star and chew on it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. It's got this musty bitterness that comes in the middle. It has that interesting sweetness at the top of the profile, and then it has this kind of a funky sweet note after that, and then this bitterness that comes in, this almost tart bitterness. Yeah, it's kind of tart. It's kind of sour, a sour bitterness. So you're getting like two of the flavors that are the two of the descriptors that typically I try to stay away from a lot, and that's sour and bitter together. But it also has this mustiness, like woody mustiness to it, down at the bottom of it. So that bitterness, you'll find that bitterness note. Remember that, because when you try a tequila, you'll find that note pops up quite a bit in some of the tequilas out there. Yeah, it started out like black licorice, yeah, and then then that bitter note comes in at the end of it. Yeah. It's very earthy bitterness. It's musty. Yeah, you got that sour note too, right? Yeah. So that's star anise right there. So, write down your notes what you're getting, so you can reference it back when you're trying to remember. And then also keep all this stuff. See, what I do is what I recommend doing is building a tasting kit with these. Okay, so keep all these aside as your notes, and what you can do is, if you want to put them in the littler jars, you can do that too. But you want to go back and revisit them and remind yourself, so you become really super familiar with the notes. And that way, you can even have your wife test you, or your roommate or whoever blindfold you, and then they pick a spice and hold it up, and you have to identify which one they're giving you. That's a really good way too of being able to pick out the notes right away, is do a blind nosing, where you basically are blindfolded and you have your wife or your best friend or your fellow drinking buddy or whatever. You can do it to each other. You just put a blindfold on, and you just hold up the thing and wave it in front of their nose, and they have to tell you which one it is. And identify it. And that helps you too become really super familiar with the tasting notes on that. All right, so any questions? That's our 3 spices for today. I did post what we're going to be getting into next week on the community part of the YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked that yet, I know Frank commented on it, so he's seen it. But we're doing citrus next week, and what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 different aspects. So we'll do citrus, we'll do like stone fruit, we'll do all the different kinds of fruit notes that are found in tequila, and then we'll do under grassy, we'll pick the stuff that's supposed to be grassy notes, and we're going to categorize them all in our book. So when we pick up like a grassy flavor, we can look and kind of see, okay, was it like this, and it'll kind of be like a reminder for you on the different notes and what kind of things characterize them. Do you ever smell or taste the ingredients side by side? No, I never do it side by side with the tequila. Because I don't want, if I do it side by side, the palate's going to be kind of whacked, because it's going to have the flavors from a lot more concentrated flavors from these with it. Yeah, it's too much for the palate. Yeah, exactly. So you should just test yourself and revisit these and stuff before you do a tasting, and then you'll know them where when you taste, you'll go, okay, yeah, I know what that note I'm pitting is, that tastes like this, and you'll have a descriptor for it. But we're going to break down, there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be adding to our tasting and nosing kit. So you guys are going to have a pretty expansive profile by the time we're done with this. I hope you're ready for it, and I hope you're wanting to participate in it, because it will be very fun, and you'll have a pretty rich palate by the time we're done if you stick with it. So next week it's citrus. I think I put the list on there. It's going to be oranges. So bring an orange, a lime, a lemon, and a grapefruit. And then also bring a grater. So something that you can do pith with. So because we're gonna peel off the skin on them and focus on that as well. So because there's banana peel, or not banana peel, orange peel, and lime zest and lemon zest and stuff that we're going to familiarize ourselves with too. Okay. So make sure you bring a little thing that we can do a little zest with the skin. And we'll do, tasting of that as well. And getting ourselves, accustomed to what those taste like. So we can use them as descriptors too, when we're writing tasting notes. All right. Does that sound good? So next week's citrus, and then we'll do some more. I'm going to put down, certain weeks and stuff on there, and I'll add more stuff to it, more stuff that we'll be getting. So we're going to be getting into a bunch of different things, and going through tasting and stuff. And I know you may think, hey, I know what lemon tastes like, I know what lime tastes like. Just play along, because you'll be surprised on some of the stuff that we're gonna experience when doing it. And it's good to kind of re-energize yourself and reset yourself on what the notes really are, and it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. We'll learn a lot. Would be cool to have this. What you're doing is you're building your own. You're building your own. Anything cool for Cinco de Mayo? I don't know. What do you mean by anything cool for Cinco de Mayo? Yeah, but Frank, that's what you're doing is you're building your own. You're building your own kit. Just like Anna Romero Mena. Yeah, they don't always taste like they smell, but smell's a big part of it. Smell's a big part of tasting. If you don't have smell, you don't taste. That's why if you remember when you were younger and you had to eat something you didn't want to eat, what did you do? You held your nose, right? Like if you had lima beans or whatever, you hold your nose and you'd eat it, because that way you don't have to taste it. That's a natural thing. The nose really kind of expands the tasting on it. Smells like fish. What smells like fish? You're still on the star anise? Think it smells like fish? I don't think I've ever had fish that smelled like that, but if you experience that, then yeah, okay. All right, so any other questions or comments? Anything else I can answer for you guys real quick while we're here? All right, so let's wrap it up then. Next week is citrus, so bring an orange, a lime, a lemon, a grapefruit, and bring a grater that you can use to make pith with. You can grind a little skin of them off, because we're gonna dive down deep and stuff with citrus. Oh, busting on Quicksilver. Oh, okay. Things that they don't taste like they. Oh, okay, I get it. They smell like fish. Oh yeah, you're doing the whole yeah. Yes, that's something that doesn't smell like it looks either, or tastes like. Hopefully. All right, you guys, that's it for tonight. Hopefully you guys had a good time and learned some more stuff tonight. Make yourself familiar now with all 6 of those. 6, right? There's 6. Yeah, all 6 of them. Keep familiarizing yourself with them. Don't forget to write in your in your tasting journal. Great class tonight. Thanks. Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Got your blancos in today. Oh, nice. And we're gonna do some more of the nosing and tasting stuff before we dive into the tequila. So we're gonna just bear with me and get the ingredients and play along, and you'll see things will be a lot more enlightened for you when we dive into the tasting part. Okay. But it's just going to be a little patience. All right, you guys, have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you. Hopefully we'll get more people. We only had like 8 people at a time or something here now. We need to get more people to come and do this, because then we can, well, maybe they'll watch it, afterwards on the channel. We need to get more people to come to the Hombre Cave channel. I need to advertise it more and bring more people in, because we need to grow it. So we can have our tasting army get bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, guys, have a good evening. We'll see you on Thursday for our regular live from the Hombre Cave edition. Have a great Wednesday, and stay out of trouble. Don't get arrested or anything. Oh, by the way, the El Tesoro single barrel is nice. Got it. I love it. It's great. It's an amazing añejo from them. One of my more favorite añejos from them. So if you guys aren't members of the Tequila Barrel and Agave Collective, I know Frankish is, because he already ordered his. Join. It's $10, and you can get access to some of these great tequilas that we're getting in that are exclusive, and they're well worth it. The El Tesoro Mundial collection, the Lafroig barrel aged one that we have now, is beautiful. It's tasty. It's great. I love it. Turned out great. But we'll talk about more of that on Thursday. You're welcome, Quicksilver. Thanks for watching. You had a blast. Okay, good. Glad you guys are having a good time learning and stuff. That's otherwise I just would say we'll stop doing it. Okay, good. Jan had a blast. Okay, good. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll see you on Thursday. Salute. Bye.